Hello, welcome to Quilt in Color. This is day 12 of 15 minutes to quilt. Today we're going to be working on a rail fence quilt. Let me show you one that I've already made. This one uses all sorts of scraps from all other projects I was working on. And the quilt that we're going to be working on today is also made completely with scraps. So let me show you what that looks like. Okay, so this is the project box for the rail fence project. And you can see that all it has in here is a whole bunch of rail fences that have already been made. This rail fence project uses 4 rails instead of 3 rails like the other one. And you can also see that sometimes I do let some of the rails be pieced instead of plain. Some of these are stolen from the Dots and Dashes quilt. But right now, there are no 1.5 inch strips. There's no 1.5 inch fabrics left, so we're going to have to cut some more today. Each of these, to me, look like a beautiful work of art. And I look forward to seeing what they look like in a quilt. You may have noticed that the fourth rail is a dark color compared to the other ones, and that's why this quilt is called fourth rail, because of the dark color. My hope is that the fourth color here will lead the eye and form a design on the quilt. So let's cut some more scraps. I can sew them next to each other and then cut them into the appropriate lengths, because this quilt does not have that requirement that there's no duplicates on a particular block. There's no rule that there's no duplicates on a particular fabric combination. So the looser you make your rules for your particular quilt, the easier it is to make it quick. a brand new rotary blade on this. I recommend that you press your strips before you cut them. Do as I say, not do as I do. I think this is going to be big enough for the rail fence quilt, but it'll work just fine for the ducks quilt. This fabric is a piece backing for the Star Wars quilt. There's the dots here from the selvage. We can use a blue section here. I think you'll be alright because this will be in the selvage too. It'll be in the seam allowance. I think this may be a left-handed ruler because, as you can see when I'm cutting here, this is in the wrong spot. And the same thing happens when I turn it over the other direction. So in order for me to do it correctly, it'd have to be this lengthways, and that's hard to do that when I have this much fabric. I think I purchased this specifically so that I could cut both sides of a particular fabric. But then I got lazy and I didn't switch out when I need to switch out. So pretty. Really pretty fabrics like this I like to put in a large variety of quilts so that it gets to share the glory with some of my quilts. The rail fence block is so versatile that I think I could make rail fence quilts the rest of my life and still not have any duplicates. Once I'm done cutting these fabrics, I'll choose the dark ones and separate those out so they can wind up being on the fourth rail, and keep the medium and the light fabrics on the other three rails. And this fabric can go in the dots and dashes quilt because it is part of the postage stamp quilt. But if I put some in this quilt and the rail fence quilt and the fourth rail quilt, then there won't be too much of the same fabric in the dots and dashes quilt. And this will get finished. Now I have to find a place to store it with my bigger pieces of fabric. It's my story with scrap management system with the Paper Reduction Act is just to use it up and reduce it as much as possible so that there's no point in having to find a place to store it. But as you can see with this box that you just saw, so far I'm not very good with this system yet. But this was a fairly new policy for mine, is to use up the scraps as we go along. Maybe someday it'll work better for me. But right now I have, besides this box, I have other boxes also full of scraps. And this box looks like a fairly small box, about the same size as the one with the yo-yos in it. So what I'm going to do with these is to sew these together with other fabric making sure that I have a dark color on one side. And normally I just sew them in groups of 2, and then I subcut them into the right length, and then I join them with the other 2 fabrics. That way there is variety, so that each rail fence does look different from each other, even though it is sharing some of the same pairs. In this fabric, because there's so much of it, I probably will share some of this with the Dots and Dashes quilt, because it is a leftover from the postage stamp quilt. So this is how much I got done today. Not bad. This video is one of a series of videos where I show you all of the projects that I've been working on and show you how much work can get done in 15 minutes at a time. I hope that you sewed along with me so I can give you an entry in the drawing. Just let me know in the comments below what you worked on today and how much you got done, and I'll give you an entry in the drawing. Thank you for watching, thank you for your support, and I'll see you tomorrow.